Hello! Welcome to another episode of Anatomy Mondays, offering you space to connect with your own inner place. I'm Stephanie, your host, licensed massage therapist, and anatomy enthusiast. So today is a very special day because we are covering my all-time favorite muscle in the body. We're actually doing two muscles today because they are very intrinsically connected, and I say that with the understanding that everything in the body is intrinsically connected. However, these ones are located stacked right on top of each other, and they create the same action. So, what do we have today? We have the Rotatores and Multifidi. So the Rotatores are the Italian muscle, and they are like little strings of angel hair pasta that help to extend and uplift our spine. And Multifidi, these are my favorite muscles ever! And they're really my favorite because they're so connected with support and how we support ourselves in our bodies. And the word multifidi comes from dissected multi, which means many, and fidere, which means to cleave or to split into parts. So essentially this muscle is one muscle that is split into many parts, all stacked upon the spine. So this is the backside of the body. And I think that's incredible that these small, incredibly deep muscles are in charge of keeping us upright. So, where exactly are these guys located? I need my good old Mr. Spine here to help me out with this description. So in the body, we have a spine. This one has a bit of a curve in it. Let's straighten that out. And what's really fascinating about the spine is that it is actually 24 joints working together as one to get us full circumduction and rotation of our trunk and body. So one of these joints, these are your discs. One of these joints does not permit very much movement, kind of gets us places, but not really. But if we add 24 stacked on top of it, whoever had this design is just brilliant. We can get the whole gang together and rotate our entire trunk. So, if we go on the back side here, we got our lovely sacrum, coccyx down here, and these are our lovely hip bones. Then we have our spine. And Multifidi and Rotatores, they go from the edge of our vertebrae to the center of the vertebrae above it. Edge to center. Edge to center. Like a beautiful diagonal corset that lines both sides of our spine. And both of these muscles work together to fill up all of the space, or most of the space, from the sides of our vertebrae, transverse processes, to the center of the above vertebrae, spinous processes. So side to center side to center, side to center, side to center, all the way up, all the way up. And what do they do? I just talked a bit about it. They help to rotate the vertebral column and extend the vertebral column. So like when we sit upright, we're using these deep intrinsic muscles in the body. So let's talk symbology. I was considering writing down all of the potential representations of spinal misalignments for every single vertebrae because these muscles connect to every single vertebrae. However, that would have taken a lot of time. So to brief that, I did the spine in general, and then the sacrum and the coccyx, which is your hard bone at the bottom of your spine, and then your tailbone. And I figure we can get into exact vertebrae piece by piece, little by little, piece by piece, because they're singular vertebrae, as we delve deeper into the body. So, the spine is the flexible support of life and really self-support. And a good affirmation to support this healing of your spine is, I am supported by life. And actually, if you are in my newsletter this past March, the most recent one, you already know this. I wrote about living the question. It's a beautiful Rilke poem about how we must not seek the answers, we must live the question. And then perhaps, without us realizing it, we can begin to develop an answer. And if you're not on my newsletter, you can sign up. I have a link below. And so I was pondering some questions that you could ask yourself relating to support. So a couple that I thought of, doesn't have to be these. It can be some that you have thought of as well. There's some options. How can I support myself more fully? And what does support look like for me? That is a really key foundational question. Like, what does support even look like? Like, it's different for everybody. And having those intuitive questions focused inward can really help for you to define your own definition and version of support. So then you can see what aligns and what doesn't, and if something isn't working or if something is working, and how to communicate that and get more of what you need. So that is spine. And I also want to talk about posture. So these muscles, these are like deep to like trapezius, your erector spinae group, which also helps to keep your spine erect, and literally all of the muscles except for the intertransversarii and interspinous muscles. These are the deepest muscles in your back. Anyway, so if you look here, those are all pretty superficial muscles. These are like way in there. Like, you can't like physically touch them if you were to like itch your back. So, and they still have an effect on your posture because they help to extend your spine in like a proper posture, which is having your shoulders tucked in their own back pockets and then your chest open and each vertebrae stacked on top of itself. So some people have a rounding posture, which has to do with the spine. So it's actually like mid back is hunching forward, and then shoulders round into chest, enclosed chest. And there's another version of posture that can symbolize what I'm getting to here. So there's rounded shoulders, and then there's like barrel chest, where you're like puffing out your chest. And this one, you have your spine is arching the other way, so it's pinching these spinous processes together instead of offering space in between them. They are pinching them together. And then the rounded shoulders ones brings it forward like this. Ouch! So the rounded shoulders, potential misalignment is carrying the burdens of life, helpless and hopeless. Like, oh, gosh, I just give up. That kind of energy. If you've been there, raise your hand. And a good supportive affirmation for that one is, I stand tall and free. I love and approve of myself. My life gets better every day. In the concave, like rounded shoulders, that along the lines of helpless and hopeless reiterates the theme of a small self, like a powerless self, which can conclude a low sense of self-worth. And then the barrel chest is actually an overinflated sense of self, which can also relate to a low sense of self-worth. So there are two ways that worth can show, like if self-worth is low. There are a couple. And then we have sacrum, which can relate to a loss of power and old stubborn anger. And I've been working this one recently in terms of like the dialogue around power, and like instead of like I'm taking my power back from people, it's like that still has an aggressive victim-y connotation to it. So it's more of a softer attraction of reclaiming my power instead of like, oh, I'm taking it back. Like it's a lot more confident, I think, and powerful. Like it's more of like, yeah, it's mine and it's here, and there is no taking back because there was never any stealing in the first place. Like, I had the power, you had the power of doing all of the exchanging of power, whether it's giving it to someone or not reclaiming it or whatever that looks like. I think that's pretty important dialogue to unpack for yourself. And a great way to do that is through talk therapy. So a supportive affirmation for the sacrum is, I am the power and authority in my life. I release the past and claim my good now. And then your coccyx, which is your tailbone, can relate to out of balance with yourself, holding on, blame of self, or sitting on old pain. And a supportive affirmation is, I bring my life into balance by loving myself. I live in today and love who I am. Soak in that goodness. So I also wanted to show you a lovely image here. So these are the Multifidi. Well, these are the Rotatores, and these are the Multifidi. And this is the action of rotation of the trunk. So in our movement practice today, we are going to be incorporating more rotation. And if you haven't noticed already, I've really stayed pretty central with the muscles that I've been working on and exploring with you in this series, because really having a strong foundation and spine and trunk will support you in having more relaxed shoulders, having more of a relaxed neck, because guess what? These go all the way up into your neck, and being able to stand on your feet a little bit better because you feel supported up here. So I'm going to continue to stay on the lane of centralized, deeper muscles for now, which have a lot to do with the spine and rotation of the spine, which is where your Shakti can come alive. So in our movement practice, we are focusing on movement of energy and chi again. And like, if you didn't check out last week's episode I had some great visuals that might help to imagine and enhance your practice with chi. If you think of a plant soaking in water from their root system, that is a similar thing that we are doing here with energy through our feet, through our body, and then releasing what no longer serves us. So let's get to the movement practice. So these babies line, ooh, we got a real twist going on here. Line our whole spine all the way up to C2, all the way down. And fun fact, Multifidi is the only muscle that covers your sacrum. They don't show those there. Okay, so movement practice. I'm going to start with our hands soft on our sides. Soft joints, like we have nice balloons or bubbles in our joints. I'm going to start by invoking energy up. So we pull earth energy up and raise our hands so they meet in the center above our heads. And then we are going to hinge our hips, keeping our spine soft and bent forward, keeping our knees soft on the exhale. Maybe do a little shake as you go down. Actually, yeah, do a shake as you go down. And then bringing our body up, our legs bending forward, arms overhead, spine is getting stacked. Inhaling and then exhaling, bringing that energy towards our lower dantian, which is our lower abdomen, and rotating with a twist to one side. And then inhale, center, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging and really soft here. Soft spine as we shake down. Soft knees, soft hips. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Inhale, slowly starting by tucking in our tailbone, breathing in earth energy, feeling that chi vibrate through you as you stack, bringing arms overhead and pushing earth energy into lower dantian and rotating to the other side. Center back up one more time through on the recording. You can do it as many times as you like. And then hinge down, soft hips, soft spine. Wiggling the spine, keeping it straight so you don't want to bring just your mid back down. You want to keep your spine aligned as you go down. And then inhale. Up, stack, breathe. And exhale, energy to lower dantian, rotating to the opposite side. Feeling that fresh energy move through you, through your spine. Up your body. Oh, it feels so nice. So that concludes Anatomy Mondays for the day, all about support and supportive self, and how can you support yourself even more fully. As you move through your day, I suggest or hope that you consider that question, and the answer isn't going to pop up right away. And that's the purpose of asking the question, is to live the question and to invoke that curiosity and sense of wonder and experimentation so that you can continue to discover the puzzle pieces that are life, that's your life. And that is where the fun is. That's why we're here. It's continuous. Our hearts are beating, so we are experimenting. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope that you keep your Multifidi and Rotatores in your mind and talk with them, see how they're doing in your spine, and see what shows up when you speak with your body like that, communicate with your body, because the body has its own language, and it is important for us to learn how to listen and respond effectively to it. Thanks for being here. I'm your host for Anatomy Mondays, Stephanie Lee, licensed massage therapist and anatomy enthusiast. Enjoy your Monday, and I will see you next week. Take care.